Hello everyone, it's Chrissy here from the Creative Eclectic. Happy Tuesday night. Hope you're having a fabulous day and a fabulous start to your week. Whoops. Having a few little issues here. Let's see if that's better. Well, tonight we are doing a choose your own adventure. So hopefully this is working. Let's see if we're live and who's watching us tonight. If you're watching, be sure to say hello. And hello, Glenda. Oh, you must be sitting there waiting for me to start. Oh, you got to comment even before I started. Oh, goodness. All right. So over the last 24 hours, I have been probably a bit more than 24 hours, been putting some ideas or options up. Yeah, I'm glad you're keen, Glenda. My husband's downstairs cooking and I was thinking, oh, it smells so good. I wonder if I could not do a Facebook Live and have what he's cooking. But I'm here. So we had quite a few things to choose from. So we started with a stamp set, and the stamp set that was most popular, or was the most popular choice that people wanted to see me use, is the Seaside Bay bundle. And I've only used it once, so it'll be a little bit of a challenge. Hi, Jodie. So that was our first option. The second option was a slow make or a quick, fast make. Now, that was really hard because people said either. So one person said slow and one person said fast and 3 people said either. So I'm going to have to do an in-between card. So yeah, so I'd say you would call it a slow card. It's not a fast make. But yeah, so how is everybody tonight? It's a beautiful day here. It's a bit warm and but it's just nice. All right, so we're doing a slow card and we're doing it with the Seaside Bay. The other options were, do you want me to do heat embossing? Do you want me to do dry embossing with an embossing folder? Or do you want me to use embossing paste? Hands down, embossing paste 1. So we're playing with some shimmery white embossing paste. So this will be interesting. All right. The other option we had was, do you want me to use foil or vellum? And one person said vellum and everybody else said foil. So we're using foil. And the last option was ribbon, which I still haven't worked out how to... Oh, hi, Glenda. Glenda S. I'm glad you're watching live. Fabulous. So the last option was ribbon, and I haven't worked out how I'm going to put this on the creation. And we have one more option to choose, but we will do that later on in the card. But before we start, I'm just going to show you a quick make that I made at our card afternoon on Saturday. So this is just embossed foil that I had left over, and there's 2 layers. There's like a copper and a champagne, and then these were carried over, these leaves from the I was going to say holiday catalogue, July to December catalogue, and I just embossed on the leaves. It's cool there tonight, Jodie, and you've got slippers on. It's not slipper weather here. Hi, Kim. Lovely to see you. So yeah, this is my really quick make. So I embossed the 2 layers and stuck them on the card with some ribbon, and then there we go. That was my Saturday, and I did some splatters, and I heat embossed that. Yeah. So that's my quick card. Hi, Carol. All right, so let's go over what the choices were again, or what people chose in the last 24 hours. We did it on my Chrissy's Creative Eclectic group, and we also did it on the Creative Eclectic Facebook page. So first up, which people chose Seaside Bay. Only one person chose Dainty Delight, but we will do something with that in a couple of weeks' time. There's no Facebook Live next week because it's Anzac Day, and I don't work Anzac Day. The ribbon was another really popular choice. Nobody wanted twine. Okay. Then the embossing paste was the next choice. Okay, and then foil, and I'm not going to show you what foil I'm using because I didn't specify how the foil would be put in the card. And then it was split between fast and slow with 3 other people for either. So we are doing a slow card. All right. So let's get started. We're going to do a fun fold, and I haven't made it up yet. And we're doing Australian, well, it's a sort of a hybrid. And it's a bit tricky. So we've got our paper trimmer. This is the first thing we're going to need. And we've got a piece of A4 cardstock. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut this at 8, and hang on, I'll just measure it. I've done the fold, but I haven't done the actually a finished card. So 8 1/4. All right, and you have to be pretty precise with this. So it doesn't matter if you're in the US or in Australia or where you are. 8 1/4 is your first measurement. The next measurement is the only one that is different. So if you're you're going to turn your card 90 degrees. And if you are in Australia or the UK or anywhere that uses A4 paper and C6 envelopes, this size envelope. Oh, I don't think you need my shopping list on there. We are going to use this. We are making this to fit this. All right, so if you are in Australia, you're going to do it at 6 3/4. You're going to cut. All right. If you are in the US, that length will be 7 inches. Okay, just because you have a bit wider card than us. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is a little bit of scoring. Yeah. Oh, you haven't used the paste yet, Carol. Well, this is a bit of a different way to use the paste that we're going to do tonight. So first up, and again these measurements won't change no matter where you are. We're going to, on the long edge, I'll move this over, let's close this. On the long edge, you're going to get this scoring thing, and we are going to score it at 2 3/4. Okay. Then we're going to flip it round and we're going to score it on the short edge at 2 3/4 also. Okay. So I can tell you, I haven't made one of these cards before. So you're going to have a square in the corner that is 2 3/4 square. Sorry, a square in the corner is 2 3/4 square. And then this piece, and then this piece. All right. Then this is the tricky bit. You're going to put this 2 3/4. But before we do that, we're going to grab our bone folder, because this makes it easier to see. We're going to grab our bone folder. And this is the same if no matter what country you're in. You're going to have, I'll turn it back the other way. So you want, you're going to have this 2 3/4 scored like that, right? So they will be valley folds. Okay, so your little foldy bit is gonna, this bit will fold, it's gonna be on the left-hand side, okay? Then you'll need a pencil or something like that, a pen. I'm going to use my navy Stampin' Right marker, and you're going to go put this score line on your 2 3/4 mark here, and I'm just going to slide it up, and I'm just going to put right in this here. Oh, that's my that pen I've had for like 50 years. No, not quite. I'm going to score this. So this bit here, from here to here, is going to be 2 3/4. Does that make sense? Please tell me it makes sense. Okay. Then, this one's a little bit more tricky. You're going to turn it on a 90-degree angle, match your score line up here, and you're going to do a mark here that is 2 3/4. Okay. All right, so you've got a 2 3/4 mark here and a 2 3/4 mark here from this fold line. Does that make sense? No, yes. All right. Thumbs up, maybe. Ah, you've got my attention. It makes sense. All right. Then you're going to, now this is the trickiest part of the card, I think. You're going to line these two score lines up with this track, all right? And you want to make sure that when you're going to score this, so these two little check marks, you want to make sure it goes through this that center bit of the card. So I'm going to score this, and fingers crossed it works. All right. So as I said, it's not a quick card. So you've got this score line here. All right. For this one, you're going to fold it. I'm just going to put my paper away. And you're just going to fold it like that. So when you fold your card, it'll fold a bit like that. So look at how magical that is. So you've got to make sure all your lines are burnished really well. And another trick with this card, and see how it goes exactly through the centre of that. All right. So whatever size you make that square, that's the same distance that you need to bring these score lines out from that. I think that makes sense. You can't talk because you're listening. Oh, okay. So this is a bit of a tricky card, but so that's your card base. Okay. There you go. There you're going to have to. It's all done. No, it's not really. All right. So now we can get to decorating it. So I'm using the By the Bay Specialty DSP. Now this has got, surprise, surprise, lots of foil in this pack. Now this is the first time I've used the pack, so it's one of those ones that I wanted to use, but I just never got around to it, and it's retiring, but it's still available and it's actually on sale at the moment. So, yeah. So, let me pop that over there. I've done a lot of the cutting. We're going to start with the front of our card. So I've got two pieces, so we're going to turn it over so that these squares are closest to you. And I've got two pieces of non-directional paper, so it doesn't matter which direction you go in, it's still going to be right. And I thought I had two pieces. I know I cut it. How can things get lost between the kitchen and the here? Oh, here we go. And so these two pieces, they started out being, depending on, and so if you're in the States, yours are going to be, this one here is going to be a bit longer. But this one is 2 5/8 by 5 3/8. So just a little bit smaller than 1/4 of an inch. And what I'm going to do is we have to cut it, because if we don't cut it, it's going to be too hard to fold. So we know that our score line is here, right? And when we move this up a bit, our other score line is over here. Okay, so you're going to cut from there to there. All right. So this is what, the cutting is what takes a bit of time. Okay. Now I think if you're in the States, your card will be the same. Just like you have two pieces the same, because you're in Australia, we don't. And so I've lined up those two little check marks that I made, and we're going to cut. Okay. Right. Then the other one, we're going to do the same thing before we get too far. Yes, I'll move that up a bit, sorry. We're going to cut from that corner. Now this piece is 2 5/8 wide by 3 3/4. Now you can play with these and adjust the size. And that's where my other little check mark is, right? And I'm going to cut along those. So you also need 2 pieces of a different paper for the inside. And so when we cut these 2, we can use them as a template for the inside 2 pieces. Now, I hope this is making sense to people. It's very pretty paper. And it's much easier using non-directional paper that doesn't have a pattern that you have to worry about the direction of than it is using directional paper. Trust me on this. So, when you put these on, they'll have that little bit of a gap which allows you to fold, allows the paper to fold, okay? So, before I stick them on, I'm going to use my get my 2 inside pieces. So, I know that, so this is my big piece for there, and I'm just going to, on the reverse side, just check that that's going to work, because it'll sort of go a bit differently. So I'm going like that. On the reverse side, we're just going to draw a little, and I'm hoping this works. So our pattern, so this is a beautiful pattern. I'm not using that side, I'm using, so this will cut through there. And then this one, we know we want it to go there. Okay? That just makes it easier. I can't tell you exactly what the measurements are because it's going to be different depending on your card. Okay? Alright, let's just put them aside and I'll cut them in a second. Let's stick our front pieces on first because we want to make sure that they dry a little bit. Now the best thing for this is glue. And I did bring glue up. I know I did. We've got like 50 containers of glue. Oh, there's a brand new container. Let's use that. Okay. Is everyone with me so far? Oh, hi Carolyn. Lovely to see you. Yes, I love the shell paper too. And I was fortunate that it wasn't all used up on Saturday. So this is a nice paper because it doesn't have a direction. I'm going to put my silicone craft mat down here and just pop a bit of glue on. Now I'm using the broad end of my glue because I just think it gives you a better coverage. Some people didn't even know that the multi-purpose glue has 2 ends, and I don't want to have stacks of glue where I don't need it. Okay, so you line up your, like, I don't want to have excess glue, that's probably what I needed to say. So you need to make sure that when you line this up, that you're lining it up so you're leaving that fold there. Okay. Now this is one of those cards where you decorate both the front and the back. Now this side of that paper has got like a shiny piece on, and I feel a bit sad using that side, but like gluing that side down, but I really liked the shells. And I'm sorry, this is going to be a long card tonight because there is a few things that I hadn't, as I said, I'm winging it because I was waiting to see what people were going to vote, how people were going to vote before I came up with the design and came up with what we're going to do. So line up your pattern as best you can. I'll turn this piece around. We're going to line up this pattern here. Hi Rhoda, hope you're well. Yeah, oh, it's lovely to see people watching, and our possum is back tonight. And I've got, if you see me waving my hands around, there's some sort of like little midgies found its way into our study, and don't even know how it would manage to get up here because the windows are never open. So yes, so we've got this one. I'm going to line up this one here. All right, so this is such a nice little card, and it looks, it's the first time you do all the folding and the first time you do the cutting, I think that it is harder. And I have to tell you, this is the first time I'm making this card. All right, and I've had to adapt the instructions from a really old tutorial that I saw. So I have never made this type of card before. All right, the other thing that we want is a piece for this corner. So I've got this piece, and we know that this piece is going to fold like that. So I want to make sure my birds are the right way, although it doesn't really matter because the birds are going all sorts of ways. And this has got foil on it. Let me see. I've got two pieces the same. You see the other piece I don't think has birds on it, and I think that will be better for the front. Oh. Okay, the other piece doesn't have birds, it just has a crab, and I think I would like that one on the front a bit better. So it's a bit of a contrasting piece. So this is I'll have to measure the size of this. I think it's about 1/8 of an inch smaller than this piece, the square. I think that works out. See, so can you see how it's coming together? Yes, I am well, Rhoda. Thank you for asking. Well, sort of well, but I'll be very good in a couple of days when I'm on Stradbroke Island enjoying the sun. So I've got this blank piece. We're going to decorate that as well, but we'll do that last. So let's turn it over for the inside. We can pop this little one on here now. Oh, the birds. Didn't realise the birds were wonky. I'll go that way. No, we need to go this way because we want our pearl shell going the right way up. That makes sense. So this has got a little bit of foil on this. Now, whoops, we did it the wrong way. Ooh. This is why you use glue. Yeah, I haven't been to Australia since I was a kid, Rhoda. So every time you go there, I get really jealous of you. All right. So we're going to cut these, just move my glue out the way. Cut these little pieces here for the inside of the card, making sure that, yep, that's going to work. we've got our 2 little check marks. Well, they're close enough. Much easier to see when it's on a lighter piece. Ooh. This one, did I do that the wrong way? I'd have to recheck that one. It's better if you use a pencil, but sometimes you just can't, and so just trimming that piece off like that. Now this is a directional paper, so you have to be a bit more careful about how you cut it. So I had to make sure that my pattern for that one was facing up, and this one here, the pattern was facing up. But you get lots of paper in this pack, and I think that's really quite decadent. So yes, 2 days time, Raider, we'll be enjoying curried prawns on the beach. Looking forward to that. And my sister is going, hey, they're having prawns when I'm not there. So, because she doesn't like prawns, so. Sorry, I'm off the camera. I'm really not sure why I was off the camera, but anyway. So, hope everyone had a really great weekend. What I do have to tell you about is tomorrow, Stamping Up is doing free shipping. So it's for 1 day only, and so there's still lots of retiring stuff that's still available and that you can grab a bargain. Like there's lots that's sold out, but there's lots that's available as well. And so you can still get like the deluxe Stamper Artist mats. They're like down to $4.20. If you don't have a mat for stamping on, oh sorry, I'm out of the camera again. If you don't have a mat for stamping on, get one of those deluxe foam mats for $4.20. You can't even buy a mouse pad for that. Well, I don't think you can anyway. Not a decent one. And they are just great for stamping on with photopolymer stamps. And I am putting in an order tomorrow, so if people want anything, let me know and I can pop in an order for you. Obviously, if it's coming to me, you won't get it until I get back from Stradbroke, but it'll take a few days to get here, I think. Because I'm sure lots of people will be taking advantage of the free shipping. Now, the card base I used was Night of Navy. Right. Okay, I will send photos, right? Yes. Okay, so we've done the front like that. I've done these little bits here. Like you could swap these and make these a different colour. So you could put that colour here, and if you wanted to, like you could change it a bit. I just like making it easy. Now we're up to this centre bit. So I chose this paper, which is the reverse side of that, because it looks like the sand and the sky That sort of looks like a bit of a sandbank. So maybe I was channeling Stradbroke, I don't know. Now, before I stick this on, one of the options we had to choose from was that everybody chose with our Choose Your Own Adventure was embossing paste. So I'm just going to wipe the glue off this. And I'm going to show you something a little bit different with embossing paste today. So I've got my piece of cardstock. Oh. I actually don't know which way that it goes, so I'm going to say that it goes this way. Okay? That makes more sense to me to have 3/4 of the sky. Alright, so I'm taking my lid off my embossing paste and hoping that I've had it sealed properly. So this is shimmery white. I've got my embossing tool and I'm just gonna mix it a little bit, and I don't need a lot of embossing paste. And what I'm going to do just for this one is I just want to drag it over the bottom so that it looks a bit like sand, and I will put a little bit on that little island and you'll see why in a second. And you're probably thinking, I can't even see that, Chrissy. It's, why would you do that? And I'm just pushing it sort of up a bit because it's going to, I don't want it too thick. All right, grab that little baby wipey thing that I had. Okay, just going to wipe this off. Wipe it off here. Now, this is quite wet, so we want to dry it. What I could have done is when I first started, I could have before I did any of the other stuff, I could have put the embossing paste on and let it dry. But I'm not doing that. I'm going to grab my trusty little heat tool. And sorry, you'll see cords and stuff going everywhere. So I don't know if you can see that embossing paste on here. It has got embossing paste, all right. I'm going to just plug my heat tool in over here. Sorry about that. Don't normally do my heat embossing upstairs, so now I've got my little mat, cork mat. And what I'll do is I'll do the heat embossing underneath. So you'll see what I need to drying, and we're going to start high. Okay. So it sort of looks like, that white sort of looks like the foam on the waves. Okay. So you don't have to use embossing paste with now I can talk. Okay, you don't have to use embossing paste with masks. So here, you've made, because I've done it so thinly over the bottom, it's made like a glimmery sand. And then up here, where it's like the foam on the waves, right? Where the waves lap onto the island. That's my way of thinking. And as you heat it, the thicker your embossing paste is, as you heat it, the more it bubbles. So down here it hasn't bubbled hardly at all, but up here it's started to bubble like the foam on your waves. So, you like that effect? Great, Carol. I'm so happy. And if you wanted to, you could grab like your little mini brush and your ink pad, and you can colour it as well. So you could colour that back to make it more Sahara sand or crumb cake or whatever colour you wanted to make it. But we're not going to do that today. It's just so if you were doing Christmas trees, you could use the embossing paste for the snow on your Christmas trees. All right, let's get back to putting our card together. And sorry, it is taking a long time to put this card together. I told you it was a slow and sensational card. All right. Grab my little silicone craft mat back again. Do you have any questions about the embossing paste? Like I've shown previously how you can colour it with a re-inker, but yeah, you can just sponge over it as well, or drag your ink pad over it. Okay. Right. Okay. Now you can adjust the size of your paper. So this paper is, this piece of DSP was about 1/8 of an inch smaller than whatever that square was. So that's just how you would measure it. Okay. Now, it's time to do some stamping. You need to think about what type of card. So this is your last decision that you're going to have to make today. I was choosing between a sympathy card and a thank you card. So in the comments, you tell me which you would like. A sympathy card or a thank you card. While I do a little bit of stamping. See, I haven't even put together most of this stamp set. I've put together the birds. And I've put together, well, that's it really. So, I want to do a little bit of stamping here. I didn't bring many colours upstairs. I bought Sahara Sand and Night and Navy upstairs, and that's it. I'm thinking sympathy card, Carol. Ooh, I haven't done a sympathy card for a while. Right. So first up, I think we're going to put a few little shells on the base of our card. Now technically you probably should stamp before you put your embossing paste on, but let's see how it goes stamping. So I've got my little shells, and what I might see if this works. I don't know how good this pen is. I'm going to put colour with my Stamping Right marker. Now this, bear in mind, this marker is very well loved. It's very old. So it might not give the effect that we really want. I'm saving up to buy some new markers. I'm going to pop those shells just there. Well, they didn't turn out too badly. Okay. And I might just repeat that here. Alright, so we've got a little shell in the corner. And I'm going to use that as a mask. And pop another little shell over here. So I want it very, those very, very pale, and they are very pale. All right, so we've got some shells down the bottom, and see, you've stamped over top of the embossing paste, no problem at all. So no one else has photo. We've got 2 Sympathy, 3 Sympathy. Oh, good. Okay. All right. Let's pop some little birds on. Now you can see I haven't even popped the sticker on the back of that one. That's in the sort of to-do pile. Now I don't want to do a whole heap of die cutting. I actually only want to die cut maybe one thing. I'm going to do the birds in Sahara Sand. Now Sahara Sand is retiring, so it will not be around in 2 weeks' time. So I'll be selling off my Sahara Sand ink pads, and it's such a shame because I think it's a nice colour, a nice beachy colour. But that said, it took me a very, very long time to actually ever use it. Let's see how this one goes. So, oops, he's up in the waves. Maybe I should have moved them down a bit lower. It's quite okay, because what I can do is I could, if I wanted to, cover that bird. We'll see how it goes. He's flying, maybe. Maybe he's wading in the water. Maybe he needs some embossing paste around his feet. He, she, it. It's funny how you give things identity without really knowing. Like a friend of mine calls all dogs he and all cats she, but he has a female dog and a male cat, so I'm not quite sure how that works. All right, so I'm going to use my very messy navy ink pad, and we will do a little bit of, I'm actually going to fussy cut it. I'm not even going to die cut it. It does have matching dies, and the dies do have extra things in it. Like it's got seaweed, it's got clams, it's got shells, it's got little birds, it's got sand, got everything. But we're not, I'm just going to fussy cut it because it's reasonably easy to fussy cut. So what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to ink it up, but before I stamp it, grab my baby wipe and wipe off the colour off his legs, and off its beak. And I have got my crumb cake marker, and there is no crumb cake in this paper pack. It's Sahara Sand and Pool Party and all of that. So I'm going to colour Birdie's legs with crumb cake and just quickly stamp it. So it's got a nice bluey coloured legs. I think it looks okay. I'm just going to really quickly fussy cut this bird. And when you're fussy cutting, move your paper around your scissors. Okay. Now, I generally fussy cut really close because I don't like to see a lot of white. But sometimes when they've got funny little feet like that, you have to be a little bit more careful of how close you get. You're probably thinking, oh, we don't want to see you fussy cutting. You should have just die cut it. It would have been quicker. But yeah. Sometimes when you have a hectic day, there's something a little bit therapeutic about fussy cutting. Okay. What I'd like to do is chop that bit off, and then I'll just finish off that piece there. Now you can see my scissors need a really good clean. That's on my list of things to do, but I'll have to wait until next, or the week after next actually, because I promised my husband I would try not to work while we're over on Stradbroke. But that said, he has to work for a few hours, so I can work when he's working. That's the deal. I think that's reasonable. He tells me I'm a bit addicted to work. All right, so we have got our bird. We need, because the bird is on the inside of the card, what I could have done is I could have put it down low, but it's still going to be covered up. So we don't want to put a dimensional behind it because it will be too thick to post. So we'll grab it. Everyone's still with me. I'm really glad. So it looks like the Sympathy cards have this today. So we'll just get a little bit of our multi-purpose liquid glue. This is why you need a silicone craft mat. I think they're the best invention after the Stamparatus, but I can't sell Stamparatuses anymore because they're all sold out. But I think that they are just the best invention. And because once this glue dries, you just peel it off. Okay, so we're starting to see it come together. So we've got 2 more elements to put on here now. We've got our with Sympathy, and we have got our ribbon. And maybe a little bit of bling, hey? So what you want to keep doing as you're doing this is keep burnishing. So if it's not folding flat, just get your bone folder and re-go over those fold lines. So then they will just fold beautifully. Okay. So I think that with Sympathy probably should go up the top here. And I'm not going to do anything too spectacular with it. We'll just... No, that's a thank you. Look. See, if I had not been lazy and put all the stickers on here, I would have known that that wasn't the with Sympathy and it was the thank you. Alright. So this is a bit more tricky about how we put the card on, the sentiment on. Because my first instinct is to have it at the front or have it down the bottom there, but I've got some things here, so we're going to play with that a little bit. We've got just a piece of white cardstock. I used white because most of the accents are white. Alright. And we'll use our Night of Navy. So if you have a suggestion about where you want the Sympathy with Sympathy to go, I would love to hear it. I actually had 2 very close friends have important people in their life pass away this week, and so I really hate creating sympathy cards, but I think that you really need to. Sometimes I normally just make a stash so that I don't have to make it when they're when I'm feeling really bad. And I'm thinking, and I'm making it quite what's the word, plain the sentiment. I don't want it to be too over the top, like fancy die cut. It might help if I cut it straight. This might be a bit tricky to cut this one straight. Oh, it's pretty okay. So we're nearly at an hour, so it's taking us nearly an hour to make this card. So I think it's got 1 more minute to go. We're going to put it on a blue layer. So, sorry, Night of Navy layer. I did think about bringing up some, what do you call that? What's that colour? Balmy blue, because that goes well. I had to really think then. but I didn't, and I didn't bring my scrap box up, so I don't have a little piece, but that would have worked really well. So I'll stick that on. It's not completely straight, but, and it won't be completely straight, but remember, nothing is perfect in card making. And actually looking at, I got some, when we were in America last time, well not, yeah, last time, I got some beautiful little bowl holders from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, so from the Amish shop, and I've been, and they're quilted, and I've been looking for years, because it's years since we've been to the States, I've been looking to find out where the mistake was on their quilting, because when they make a quilt, they never make it absolutely perfect. This is a Night of Navy cardstock, Carol. So they never ever make their quilts absolutely perfect, because they, I think that might look okay there. They've still got ribbon to add. Because they believe that God didn't make everything perfect, so they can't make everything perfect either. So there is always a mistake on an Amish quilt, on any Amish quilted item. And so I've been looking for this mistake on this quilt for years, on this quilted bowl holder. So, you know, the things that you put your hot bowl in when you take it out of the microwave, it might be a bowl cozy or something. And yeah, I've been looking for it for ages, and I finally found it today. There was just this one little stitch that they'd sort of pulled the wrong way or something. It's really barely noticeable. So I thought that it was just amazing that it's taken me since 2018 to find this mistake. So I thought it was a funny story. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're not going to have a bow. I think that this would look quite nice down here. We will cover up some of our shells, but I think it looks better down there. So what I'm firstly going to do is get some glue dots. And instead of doing a bow this time, I'm going to just stick some glue dots on here. Actually works better probably with a bit of tape, so I'm going to grab a bit of tape as well. And so, yeah, it is amazing, Jodie. I think that it just took me so long, and I sat there almost with a magnifying glass, and it just happened that I looked at it in the right light and found that this teeny little mistake. And you could, like, when you look at it and you see it and you go, oh, that's really an obvious, deliberate mistake. And so that's a bit fun. So I don't know if this goes, but we're giving it a go. So what I'm doing here is I've put my bit of tape on the back, and I'm just sort of scalloping my ribbon so that it adds a little bit of interest. And it's not too blingy, but I just think it's something a bit different to, it's a good way to add ribbon, especially on masculine cards, because most female card makers do not like putting bows on men's cards. I do it all the time, but most women don't think that when they make a card for a man that it should have a bow on it. And I think the exception is maybe twine or when you're using twine or something like that. So this is just a little bit of a different way. And you can add, like you could just do one loop. It's just different to add ribbon to your card. There's a group of ladies that I do some card making with occasionally, and if I put a bow on a masculine card, none of them, and they're all in their late 70s, 80s and 90s, and none of them will put a bow on a masculine card for a man. So no, not doing it. You could do a knot instead of a bow. I just think that this just adds a little bit of something. And because the way this folds, you can put it on dimensional. I'm going to use, I've got some black dimensionals here. And I'm being really generous with them. Just because I can. Now, so I'm really stretching myself because I had no idea when I started this card, other than the papers, I had no idea what I was going to do. So I think, and I hope that you think that this turned out okay. Now, I would like to put some pearls or something on it. Now, you're going to ask me where that foil is. The foil is in here. I've got some glue on there, and so see how that glue is there. When that dries completely, what I'll do is I'll get a soft white eraser and I'll erase that glue off. But I don't know that it needs any, so it's got the foil in here. So let's see if we met the brief. So the brief was, or the votes were, we used the Seaside Bay. We use it was going to be a slow card. We've used some foil on it. What I had intended to use for the foil was there's this dry brush metallic foil. Oh, we haven't quite finished a card. We haven't done something on the back. So I could still use that if I wanted to. But this was the foil that I was going to use on it. So let's use a bit of that. So we're going to turn it over. Okay. I've got a piece of basic white, which I'm going to cut down. Or do I have one already cut? No, I don't. Oh, yes, I do have one already cut. So this is just 1/4 inch. So as I said, if you're doing this in Australian measurements, it's going to be a little bit different to, if you're doing it, it's just going to be a little bit shorter that way than that one, okay? Yeah, put a stamp on that, I think. And we're just going to be very, very plain. I'm just using my finger that I've spat on to wipe off the ink. You can't have a icky bit at the back, really. You don't want too much detail on the back. Alright, so we've got our shell. I'm going to use a little tiny bit of this foil paper. So this is, apparently it's Cajun Craze, Petal Pink and Soft Succulent, but I think it's missing some colours off that. Because I can't see that that's Soft Succulent. That looks blue to me. Oh, I guess that bit's Soft Succulent, but looks more blue to me. This is retiring, but it's such beautiful paper. We need to use it. And these are the foil bits in that paper. So I'm just going to cut. Ooh. Now that's not very straight. We're just going to straighten that edge up. Now I can tell you I didn't cut this. I got an extra piece of this from, we went to on stage in Sydney, and so I am going to cut that 1/4 inch. Half an inch. Yeah. Just add something a little bit special to the back as well. You're going to have a place to write. Could do that on the inside if you wanted to. Bit of glue. So sorry, it's a little bit more than an hour tonight. Yes, we could do embossing powder paste, Jodie, but I'm thinking that I wanted to use a bit of extra foil than what was just on the front of the card. So there's lots of foil in this By the Bay, what is it? Seaside Bay? No, By the Bay paper. Lots and lots of foil. So look for when I say foil, it doesn't mean that I'm not necessarily going to use a foil sheet. It just means that, and what I should have done is I should have put that foil behind that sentiment there. That would have been good. All right, so we've learnt that for next time. Now you want to make sure when you glue this on that you've got the word, that it's going the right way, right? So the base of it will be as far away from the fold as possible. I know that seems like common sense, but when you're making a card that's twisty-turvy sort of card, topsy-turvy sort of card, lots of folds, it's really easy to get yourself all turned around, messed around, and I think that we do need that piece of foil behind that. I don't know that it's going to work. No, we won't. We'll leave it for now. So there you go. So there is my slow card that stayed with Seaside Bay stamp set. It has foil on the front and the back. And on the inside it's got some foil there as well. It's got embossing paste. It's got ribbon. And yeah. And it's a sympathy card. So there you go. So there is a little fun fold card. And I really encourage you to have a go at this. If you want a template, just message me or want the dimensions and message me and we'll go from there. Foil was one of the elements, yes. And the embossing paste was the other element, yeah? So, yes. We've got everything. Jodie, you must have been watching something else. Oh, you like the fold, Glenda? Oh, Glenda S. I'm glad. And oh, Carol, I love the blue colours too. Thank you, Glenda Lavender. It's lovely to see you. And thank you everyone for watching. And I really appreciate you. Joining me tonight. And yes, and I hope. And now just remember, there is no live next week due to Anzac Day, which is sort of convenient because I don't know that I'll have internet access anyway. But I really appreciate you joining in, and thank you also to all the lovely ladies who came on Saturday and helped make it a beautiful day. Yeah, so this is a very non-traditional sympathy card also, because you it's not that gold and white, you know, a lot of sympathy cards are gold and white. So yes, and yes, thank you. I will enjoy our break. Delphi's excited because her buddy Bentley is coming to stay, and he is just the most beautiful retriever who he's just funny, but he knows Delphi's boss. So she's excited that Bentley is coming to visit and look after her for a week. So yeah, and we shall see you in 2 weeks' time. Until next time, happy creating. Bye for now.